How we would find out if a dog had a microchip, if a dog came in and they were lost and we were trying to find some identification. One way to deal with identification in animals, of course, are their tags. So either they have the tags on that actually have, say, names and numbers of owners. Another way would be the rabies tag. The rabies certificate is the legal form of the rabies information. So that's the actual part that states legally that they've been vaccinated. The tag is only for identification. So the identification on the rabies tag would just be the number on the tag itself. And then, of course, that number then would be linked to whatever vet clinic gave out that rabies tag originally. The other way then, of course, would be the microchip, which is really the best way to find an animal that has been missing. The microchip is about the size of a grain of rice, and it is a permanent fixture. It is applied through a 16-gauge needle in between the shoulder blades. That is the universal spot. So shelters, police will have scanners, vet clinics. They should have what's called a universal scanner, which means that it scans not only just Home Again chips, which is a brand of microchips, but other forms of microchips as well. So Avid chips, AKC chips, that type of thing. The beauty about the microchips is that it just has a number on there. And that number is tied to your information as long as it's been registered by you. So it doesn't have your personal information like a phone number or address or anything like that. So it's not like, if somebody were to bring in your dog, they could just, find you directly. They would actually have to get in touch with the microchip company. So what would happen is say we had a dog that came in and it's just a random dog. And who is this dog? I don't know. And so what we would do is we would have our universal scanner and we would turn it on. And it says that it's ready and it's scanning. And so what we're supposed to do is scan up over, and it looks like it already came up. And so the number is a pretty big number. This one, I think, is the Home Again. This is the newer Home Again numbers. They used to be a lot shorter, but Home Again is a really old chip company. I think it's been around at least 15, 20 years or so. So the numbers have gotten a lot bigger over the years. They used to have a lot of letters and things too. But we would also scan not just, we know that this one had come up, but we would also scan over the entire body, down legs, because every once in a great while you'll have a chip that migrates down into the chest because the chip is put in between the shoulder blades underneath the skin. And so it's just underneath in that subcutaneous area. So chips can migrate down down the shoulders into the arm areas or into the chest. But it's just it doesn't cause any problems. They have a type of glass that surrounds the microchip that makes it so that it doesn't irritate tissue. And they're a great way to be able to locate your pet because the thing is that, legally, then these animals, can't be sold for testing at universities if they're microchipped, which if they are not microchipped, they can be. Also, if they're microchipped legally in the state of Minnesota, they only have to be held 5 business days. Otherwise, after that, they can go up for adoption or euthanasia. So it's a good idea if you have a microchip on board. That way it shows identification so that you know that this dog has an owner. And then what happens is you call that microchip number, just depending on whichever chip brand it is. So if it's Home Again or Avid or any of these, they'll have an 800 number or 888 number. You call them, and then that chip number then will be legally attached to you. So it'll have your personal information, so address, phone number, that type of thing. It'll also have the veterinarian who applied the chip. It'll have some emergency contact phone numbers as well. And other than that, it's a permanent thing. You don't ever need to do anything with the chip. It doesn't need to be activated. Once it's activated and put into the dog, that's it. It's the last time you ever need to fool with it. You'll rarely even feel them in there. Even after application, I've never known them to cause any problems. And I've actually known dogs that were missing several months, if not years, that got their homes back because of microchips. So it's a good idea because dogs get loose after baths. You know, cats especially too, they have breakaway collars. It's a good way to mark a cat, especially because cats are one of the highest rates of euthanasia of all animals in the United States. So microchips are our best friends when it comes to getting animals their homes back. And you can bring them in. You know, if you ever find a dog or a cat, and you can just bring them into the vet clinic and have them scanned. There should be no charge for that, hopefully. And you know, they'll be able to link that number then to whoever owns the pet in the first place.